We're going live right now. It's awesome. Let me type a message to my friend Bill. This time, this interface worked a little different this time. It just automatically went live. It's crazy. Anyway, all right, let's get going here. Today I want to talk a little bit about exterior paint. And right now it's really kind of cool, this interface. I can tell that nobody's watching yet. Not a problem. Takes a while for people to come on board. Here we go. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the best exterior paint. I did a survey of my 20,000 newsletter people over the last few days and got a lot of really great suggestions for things that you want to discover and to learn about. And quite a few people wanted to know about the best exterior paint. And it's really kind of an interesting topic. Remember that you can, when you're live and when we're live, you have the ability in the chat box, you can send me questions. So feel free to do that and be happy to answer them, during the broadcast. My intention with these is I really only want to stay live for about 15 minutes or so. I don't want to stretch out the topic. I think what's going to happen is that people will start to ask a lot of questions, and then that might cause the broadcast to stretch out a little bit. So if you do have a question about best exterior paints, go ahead and ask them now. So here's what we want to know about paint. The first thing you need to know about paint is that it's just colored glue. I know that sounds crazy. Think about when you take a bottle of glue, it's about the same consistency of paint. It's sticky. You already know that paint's sticky because it sticks to your hands, it sticks to your clothes, it sticks to whatever you put it on, as long as you prepare the surface right. And that's exactly what it's supposed to do. All right, so that means if you want to have an exterior paint that really works well, you want to have one that has a really good glue component. And in the paint industry, that's kind of called the resin. That if you look on the paint can label, I have one here. I found an older can of paint, and right here on the label, although this was a custom mixed color and this is a label they put on at the paint store, but underneath it, right here on this side, it says what's in the paint. And in this particular paint, the Sherwin-Williams Duration, it says that it's an acrylic polymer. All right, so what does that mean? That's the resin. So paint comes in different grades, different types, and we're just talking about the ones that you might get at a paint store, at one of the big box stores. We're not talking about the specialty coatings that are used in industry, that are used on your car. Those are very, very special paints, all right? Very expensive. So the ones that you might use inside your home or outside your home, they generally come in 3 or 4 classifications. The cheapest paint, it will have what's called a vinyl acetate resin, all right? So the vinyl acetate, that's the same thing as like carpenter's glue, all right? That's a vinyl acetate glue. And carpenter's glue is very good. I mean, you can use it and put wood together, and wood will stay together for a long time. The next grade up is acrylic. So like 30, 40 years ago, acrylic paints were considered the best of the ball. I mean, if you had a 100% acrylic paint, it was really high quality, did a really good job. And acrylic paints, even today, still do a pretty good job. In my opinion, the best paints are the ones that have a urethane component, all right? So think about urethane. If you've ever brushed on urethane on wood or some surface, you know how sticky it is. I mean, urethane it's extremely sticky. I mean, it bonds and you can't hardly get it off. So years ago, I mean, this is going back 20, 25 years ago, this particular brand of Sherwin-Williams paint called Duration was made with a urethane resin, but they changed it up probably about 10 years ago, and they made a new line in the Sherwin-Williams line called Emerald. That is the line, and Emerald paint. If you look on the label, or if you talk to the paint store manager, or go to the Sherwin-Williams website, you'll probably discover it's got a urethane resin. So those are the type of paints you want to use outdoors. All right, they just are fantastic, is all I can tell you. They work really well. You can get them on Amazon. I have links on my website, Ask the Builder website, to urethane porch paints. So in the old days, like you go to old houses that had a covered front porch, they would typically paint that porch floor, and porch paints needed to be very, very durable. And so now, if you've got a porch and you want to paint it, you want to use a urethane paint. All right, remember, I just want to let you know, there's somebody, hi, Tim, hey, I'm doing great. How are you doing? It's great to have you here. If you have questions, remember, you can always ask them in the chat. That's the whole point. We're trying to stay on topic here. Try not to stray too far away from exterior paints. If you have questions about how to install the paint, what's the best conditions to paint under, I can jump into that for you. Happy to do that. All right, let me read this question. I like the information. I'd like more information about apps or links to get more informed. Thanks. I appreciate it. I don't know if there's a painting app. I think if you need a lot more information about how to paint exterior homes or paint anything, I probably have 20 or 30 columns on my Ask the Builder website that tell you everything you ever need to know about painting and what I've discovered over all the years of doing it. So I would suggest that you go to my askthebuilder.com website, start there. Okay, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the best conditions to paint under. In other words, if you had to wave a magic wand and you could pick the best day to paint, what would it be? My guess is you might say, wow, I would like to paint with it 85 degrees outside, sunny, and maybe a little bit of a breeze, all right? So that's not a good time to paint. It's also not a good time to paint when it's 40 degrees and going to drop to 32 or 28 at night. That's another thing. Make sure when you're going to paint, I know it sounds crazy, a lot of people don't do it. They're right here. So read the label on the paint can. Read it, I'm serious. It only takes a few minutes, and it tells you how to get the best results, all right? And typically they'll have on the label the temperature variations, meaning that it's not a good idea to really paint, below 40 degrees. Just don't do it. You're pressing your luck. I saw somebody do it here in my own town just 2 or 3 months ago. I was driving to town. I know it was in the 40s, and I know it was going to drop below freezing that night, and somebody's outside painting their house. Just like, I thought, wow. All that labor and material you're probably going to waste is probably going to peel off in the spring. Here's the deal. Almost all paints today that you're going to use, like this one, any other paint, I don't want to have a bunch of paint cans here. They're going to be water-based, all right? So the water is the vehicle in the paint. It's what allows you to deliver it and put it on. And then, of course, the water evaporates, and it leaves behind all the solid materials and all the chemicals in the paint that create the glue, just like regular glue. Think about it. Like if you take the really, cheap kids glue, white glue that kids use in school, it's got water in it. They glue 2 pieces of paper together, construction paper. The water evaporates, and the solid parts stay behind and holding those cardboard together. All right. Now, the best conditions to paint under are, in my opinion, it would be an overcast day, no wind, 60 degrees, and, maybe it's going to drop to 50 at night, all right? So I know that sounds crazy to you, but, and of course, no threat of rain, just an overcast gray day. Here's the trouble. If you paint on a sunny, breezy day that's hot, the water in the paint evaporates too quickly, all right? And so that's not good. We want the paint to dry slower, but we don't want it to dry too quickly. And also, if it dries too quickly, it makes it very hard for you to keep a wet edge. All right. So you want to have a wet edge when you paint because that helps you get a better looking finish when it's done. Simple as that. So hot, breezy days are the worst. And so think about that. If you're going to hire somebody to paint your home, maybe it's best to paint it in the spring or the fall. All right, when you know you're not going to have hot weather. Simple as that. At least that's how I look at it. So if you have, once again, if you have any questions about painting, now's the time to ask because we're going to wrap this thing up pretty quickly. Like, as I said, with these new live vertical shorts, I don't want to, I don't want to go on for half an hour. That's not the purpose of it. I just want to hit a specific topic, stay on topic, and then answer your questions, and then just move on. Simple as that. The last thing I want to say about the paint is beware. I'll tell you a quick little story that happened to me last year. I went to a big box store, and actually, I'll tell you, it was Lowe's, and I bought a paint there, and the paint said that it had a one coat coverage guarantee. It was an interior paint, and right on the front of the paint can, one coat guarantee, blah blah blah. So I buy it, don't think anything of it, take it home. I know how to paint. And by the way, let me just go off on a little tangent here. What happens with most rookie painters is they put the paint on too thin. All right, and that's why you don't get good coverage with one coat. Once again, when you read the label on the paint can, it will tell you how much square foot area you're supposed to cover. Typically, with a gallon of paint, it's somewhere between 300 and 400 square feet. So think of an average room, like a bedroom that's 12 by 10 by 8 feet high. So let's see, what is that? That's 80. In other words, we're at 240 plus 160. We're right at 400 square feet. So with closet doors and windows, 1 gallon of paint should get you should exhaust 1 gallon of paint when you paint like just a regular normal bedroom, all right? If you have a lot of paint left over, you've overrolled it. You put it on too thin. I go home, I use this paint. I already knew there would be a really good chance it wouldn't cover because it was yellow. Yellows are hard. Yellows rarely cover in one coat. It's a really tough color to work with. I take the can back and I go up to the counter and say, I need another gallon of this because it didn't cover in one coat. And the guy said, okay. So he mixes up another gallon, and then I go, do you have to put a sticker on this, so that I don't, get assaulted when I walk out the door or have the police called thinking I'm stealing it? She says, oh, well, you have to pay for it. And I go, wait a minute. I go, look here. It says that it's one coat guarantee and it didn't cover. He goes, and it had on the label, by the way, this paint was a Sherwin-Williams paint. And he said, well, you've got to take that problem. You've got to get your money back from Sherwin-Williams. And I thought, what? So my point is, if you're going to buy a paint from somebody, and some paint store, find out what the warranty is, find out what you have to do to get your money back or to get more free paint. Do that before you buy the original can, is what I'm trying to say. Don't fall into the trap like I did. So anyway, that's about all I really want to talk about exterior paints. I hope you enjoyed the live broadcast. If you want to know more about any topic, you can email me, pretty simple, askthebuilder@gmail.com. Go to my askthebuilder.com website, use the Ask Tim page. You can also leave comments here on this video if you're watching it after we went live, and I'll try to help you as best I can. And I'm going to try to do more of these vertical live broadcasts in the future. We're going to try to maybe do one a day. and I don't know what time to do them. It just depends on what my schedule is. But I want to thank you very much for watching, and it's great to be back. Great to be back live. I'm Tim Carter. This has been Ask the Builder.